Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Our research-backed videos are engaging, easy to follow, and they help ease the daily challenges like agitation and anxiety so that you can focus on connection and joy. Available by subscription on mobile and TV apps, Zinnia makes every day a little bit easier. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
And this is Medicare Moments with the one and only Toni King. Hi, Toni King.
How you doing, Jim? We're going to have fun today.
So, Toni, today, the topic of the podcast is, are you prepared for a life-changing event? And this is Medicare Moments with Toni King, recognized by Feedspot.com as the fourth most popular Medicare podcast in America. Congratulations, Toni.
I can't wait till we become number one.
I know, we're moving up. We started, about a year or so ago at number 7. Now we're up to number 4. And that's all because of Toni King and the great information that you get from Medicare Moments. So, Toni, this question comes to us today, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Hi, Toni. Recently, I had a bad car wreck and ended up with only a minor concussion from hitting the windshield. My wife was not hurt. I'm 55 years old and have not thought about long-term care planning due to a life-changing event. I work for a large company, and the company's financial advisor has never discussed this with me. What do I need to do?" Steve from Las Vegas, Nevada. What can you tell Steve, Toni?
The only thing I can tell Steve is that this is a great question because Americans, everybody in America, does not realize how things can happen like this. At an instant, your life can change totally. I had my own life-changing event about 5 years ago before I got on Medicare, and I had an accident while I was grilling steaks, and the gas tank literally blew up in my face and caught my arm on fire.
Ouch.
Can you imagine that?
No.
And I was outside by myself, and they had to call an ambulance. I went to a burn unit, and the only thing that they did for this first-degree burn was they put Neosporin on it because it ended up being a first-degree burn. I swear I was surrounded by angels. Something had to have pushed me away from there. I don't know what it was. And that made me realize that you never know when something is going to happen. So all I can tell Steve is that he needs to take time and make sure that he's prepared for if something were to happen. What do you have in place? You can't wait till the last minute.
Well, true. And sometimes you're not thinking about this, and that's why it's important to do it now. Like you say, Toni, so many times, pre-planning is important. Being proactive is important. So you have some great advice for Steve to make him proactive and to help secure him and maybe even his family along the way, that they can say, if something happens to Steve, he's going to be okay because Steve is 55 years old and his health could change. He may not be able to get a long-term care policy. He may not be able to get a life policy that has long-term care because he can't answer the health questions. People need to realize at some time you've got to be accountable for what your health issues are. So we can discuss the financial and legal documents. Some people don't have their legal documents together. They're not just going to pop up and do it. Correct.
So we're going to talk about that, and we can help them do that because we have people that we know through Senior Resource, through working with the different radio stations that we work with, that can help people with the legal documents. That's very important.
It is very important. You have to start somewhere. So can we start and talk about life insurance?
We sure can, because life insurance is important. And there's more to life insurance than you passing away. That's what people need to realize. Life insurance can do more. Technically, there's 2 types of life insurance. You have term, which is the least expensive, and you have whole life. So when you're younger, you generally go with a term policy because it doesn't cost very much. When you say you've been young,
I've been young and I've had term policies. So yes, you're correct on both counts.
And people don't realize that when you get a term policy and you're younger, when you get older and you can't answer the health questions, you can convert that term policy into a whole life policy. There is nothing like a whole life policy. Term will just take care of it for a time. But what do you do when you're 80 or 90? You want something to take care of you. So I always advise our Toni Says Medicare clients, don't count on your company, whoever you're working for, to do everything for you. Sometimes you've got to get in the game. So you've got term insurance, which is least expensive, but it's going to stop at a certain time. And then you have a whole life policy that will last forever. And usually whole life costs more, but you can take a term policy, buy it where it's really inexpensive when you're 40, 50 years old. When you get older, you can convert it to a whole life policy.
So what you're saying is everyone's different. That means that the value of your policy is going to be different depending on what you feel is going to make you comfortable and meet your obligations. So you have to have your own personal circumstances, maybe make a list or talk to someone who can help you do all of that, and then choose either a term or a universal or whole life insurance plan, depending on what part of life you're in and what you're looking to accomplish.
That's true. I'm not a real fan of universal. I'm more of a fan of term and whole life because I put my mother on a universal policy after my dad died. He didn't have any life insurance. And when she turned 80, that thing just escalated in premium. So technically, when you're older, a whole life policy is a lot better for you. And if you've got a financial planner that has a good plan, go with what he says. Work with him. But make sure you have something to, number one, take care of you if you have a need. You need to go in a nursing home or whatever. Or you want to make sure that you're buried properly.
Paying the funeral parlor, making sure that everything is taken care of that way. So that's the life insurance aspect of it. Toni, what about long-term care plans?
Long-term care is very important. And the younger you are, then that's when you really need to look in a long-term care policy. People don't start looking at them until they're 65, 70 years old. And now you're insulin dependent diabetic. You've got cancer issues, whatever your situation, you may not qualify for a long-term care plan. So a long-term care plan, the younger you are, then they're going to be a little more affordable. There's different kinds of long-term care policies, and a lot of them have to do with life insurance. You can have a life policy that has a long-term care nugget. I have that. I have an annuity with a long-term care rider where if something happens, then I've got like $9,000 a month towards a skilled nursing or a nursing home or assisted living. You want to sit down and make sure you're with a good plan.
And then there are the hybrid life and annuity policies too, correct?
Yeah, and that's what we were mainly talking about. There's a lot of them out there, tons of them.
And now I see something different on this, and which is something I didn't really know about even until most recently, and that's short-term care plans. What are short-term care plans, Toni King?
Well, short-term care plans are the new types of long-term care policies because long-term care, the rates are exploding. Some people can't afford them. And so a short-term care plan, you have a 2-year benefit that it's going to take care of. It gives you time to take care of that situation, whether it's care at home or it's care in a facility. I have people that purchase a short-term care policy because they need care at home. If something happens and they go into a nursing home or they go into an assisted living center, they're selling their house. So they've got that all taken care of for that. Whatever they're going to sell their house for is going to take care of their facility. What if you're in it for 5 or 10 years? And it's right now it's like $9,000 a month. You know, you want to make sure you have enough money, but they have not sold their house. And if they need care at home, whether it's for 2 months or 6 months or a year, they've got that taken care of with the short-term care policy. It does the same as a long-term care. It just doesn't have the length of a long-term care policy, and the underwriting is not as strict. So people don't realize once you become an insulin-dependent diabetic, you might have had a little small TIA, stroke. I mean, people don't think that their health situation is very serious, but the insurance companies do.
You're listening to Medicare Moments with your host, Toni King. We're talking about the question, are you prepared for a life-changing event? And we're going to be back right after this break.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Welcome back to Medicare Moments with your host, Toni King. This is part one of a two-part Medicare Moments podcast on the topic, are you prepared for a life-changing event? Toni's been talking about life insurance and what your options are there, long-term care plans and what your options are there, and short-term care plans, what your options are there. We have a lot more to share with you on an upcoming edition of Medicare Moments, but we want to remind you that Toni is the author of the Medicare Survival Guide Advanced, and Toni also has webinars that can help you. And Toni also authored The Maze of Medicare. And there's a lot of resources at tonisays.com, but people have to know that it's TONISAYS.com, right, Toni?
That's right. I'm Toni with an I and not a Y because I'm a girl. Okay. So that's why we have the I. And
That's right.
People need to realize that getting your life insurance, getting a long-term care policy, getting an annuity that has long-term care with it, or a life policy that has a long-term care rider attached to it. That's important. And you want to do it while your health is good. Don't wait till the last minute. That's all I can say.
So thanks for joining us for this edition of Medicare Moments. There's more on this topic on our very next edition. So Toni, you take care.
Okay. I'll see you later. Bye, Jim.
Attention seniors. Are you looking for a community that offers incredible benefits and stands up for your values? Look no further than AMAC. With an AMAC membership, you'll enjoy exclusive discounts on insurance, travel, dining, and shopping. Stay informed with 6 issues a year of our award-winning AMAC magazine, delivering trusted news and valuable insights. But that's not all. AMAC is committed to defending America's future by directly bringing the voices of our more than 2 million members to our elected officials. Join a community that cares about your needs and your values. For a limited time, we're offering a 1-year membership for only $1. Yes, just $1 for a year of incredible benefits and advocacy. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and join AMAC today. Visit amac.us/join now. That's amac.us/join now.